What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, as you guys can see by the title, we're going to be changing the spark plugs on my F80 M3 today. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. I hope you guys enjoy this one and it's somewhat informative. Make sure you guys hit that like button, that subscribe button, and let's get into this DIY. Obviously we're going to need some spark plugs. Everybody who is running a tune on their car, I would say like 99% of them run these NGK Laser Iridium 97506s. We want to gap these to 0.022. So I have my feeler gauge right here. I have my spark plug gapping tool. And then I got my 14mm 12-point socket right here. You're also going to need some E-Torques. This is a 14, a 12, and an 11. And you're also going to need like a flathead, something to pry some clips off. I just have a bunch of miscellaneous tools ready to go. You're going to need an 8mm socket, 6mm, maybe like a 1/2 inch or 12 if you have it, a torque wrench, and then an impact gun. And yeah, that should be about everything. So the first thing we're going to do is get our spark plugs gapped. I've already done I think 4 of them already in this box, so I'm going to do one for you guys on camera and then I'll do the other one off camera. I will have all this stuff linked in the description down below, but basically I have my NGK spark plug threaded about halfway into the gapper tool itself, and then I have my feeler gauge right in between. Then I'm gonna screw this tighter and tighter until it makes contact. Basically close the gap by tightening this side over here, and then since this side is threaded in, it's not gonna go anywhere. And again, this is 0.022. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this, but it is super snug on both sides right now. So basically if you put in a 0.023, it shouldn't go in there since that size is bigger. But yeah, you guys can see how snug that is. And then that's all you have to do for the rest of them. I think this method is honestly the best way. Both of these items was like 20 bucks on Amazon. It's better than like banging it on your counter or the floor, which I've seen. All right, all the spark plugs are now gapped. There's actually a really good write-up on this DIY on Beamer Post. It'll be the first link in the description down below. If I missed any tools or anything like that or instructions, make sure you guys refer to that write-up. It's super detailed and super helpful. That's what I'm going to be using today to get me through this install. But now we're going to get to the hardest part of this DIY, which is undoing everything right here. We have to do the carbon strut brace, all the plastics up here, over there, and then there's another like aluminum brace right here. We're gonna pop the engine cover off. We're gonna undo the charge pipes from the turbo and the intercooler right here, which isn't too bad if you guys haven't done this before. This reminds me of wrenching on my F30, which I actually missed, so I'm super excited to do this job. Again, my DIY is probably not gonna be as in-depth as some of the other ones on YouTube, but again, refer to that write-up, which will be the first link in the description down below. First thing you wanna do, I already did the other side, is you have 3 of these 10mm bolts right here. You do it with your hand. All it is a 1/4 turn to the left, and then when you're putting it back in, 1/4 turn to the right. That's gonna undo this part right here. And then over here, you're gonna need like a little pin remover tool. Just pry it underneath, right there. Then this snaps right up, just like so. Next, I'm just gonna undo the engine cover, which snaps right off. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna undo this strut brace right here. So it's a couple E-Torques. I'll tell you guys the size. Carbon strut brace is held in by a 12mm or 13. I use a 13. You have 3 bolts on this side, 1, 2, 3. You got 2 in the front, and then another 3 on the other side. And then you also have a smaller bolt, which I'll get to over there, that's also holding in the carbon strut brace. And then for the other strut brace right here, it's a E14 right here. And then the other ones are an E12. It's the same for the other side. The next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your little pin remover tool again, take off these little plastic rivets. There's 2 on each side. And then you're going to unplug this connection, which is for your EDC, I believe. Just press in and pull out, like so. Then you want to lift this. It's just basically like a plastic pin. You just pull out. Then you also have another plastic pin that you need to pull out over here. Comes out super easily. And then you also have another one under here. Make sure you guys don't lose these little pins. Oh, luckily for me, that hit the floor. Literally, as I was saying, I freaking dropped my own. That's gonna do that, and then that's gonna allow you to peel back this rubber piece. And then also over here, the last thing holding in the carbon strut brace is a little 10mm bolt, so don't forget to undo that. Obviously you guys want to put it in a very safe location, like so. Super lightweight. Next, you're gonna pop off these little covers right here, and then there's gonna be a 16mm bolt behind there. which pops off right here, which exposes the two 16mm bolts that you need to take off. Same thing on the other side, 2 and 2. Then you have 3 E12s. Also on this side, the driver's side, don't forget to do this 10mm bolt right here. The brace should be ready for you to pull out very carefully. Just want to feed the sensor underneath, and then the brace should come right out like so. Not too bad. Now your engine bay should look a little like this without the braces. Looks pretty naked to me, but let's keep going. Next, if you're looking at the passenger side, you have 3 10mm bolts right here, 1, 2, and 3 right in the back. And then to get the charge pipes off right here, obviously on the top side is a lot easier, but to get to the bottom side, I'm actually gonna remove my intake box and then also the intake turbo piping right here on the back. That way I'll have more room to get the charge pipes out. Of course, anytime that you're removing anything to the turbo, you want to put like a microfiber in there so nothing gets in there, just in case anything falls in. There's going to be 2 more 10mm bolts on the other side. Basically, it's like another plastic brace. And then there's another one if you move this little rubber piece right there, which I just removed. And now this piece should come out altogether. Your intake should be just held in by a grommet down below, and then over here it's just one little 6mm holding in the clamp. Intake box is to the side now. Again, it's just held in by this little grommet right here. And now we have access to the bottom side of this charge pipe. I think this is like an E11. This is held in by another hose clamp. It's another 6mm. And then once we remove this side, that's gonna expose the bottom of this charge pipe right here, which is the goal we're trying to accomplish. Take these 2 charge pipes off so we can get this engine cover off. Again, anything that is exposed to your turbo, which this one is, you just wanna put a microfiber in there, make sure nothing falls in. Next, we're gonna undo the charge pipes from the intercooler over here. Again, 6mm, should be super easy. And then they're held in again at the bottom right here by an E11 Torque. It's gonna be hard to mismatch the charge pipe bolts because they look like this, so obviously a little different from the other ones. First charge pipe is out. Gonna put another microfiber down here just in case. Don't want anything to fall in there. And now we're gonna tackle the last one. This one is super hard to get to. It's right there, pretty far in the back. To take out the coil, snap it up. When you loosen this, it actually pushes out the connection right here. So all you have to do is pull out. The connection comes right out. It only goes on one way. And then you want to use something like a little ratchet right here to leverage and help you pull the coil out itself. Like so. And then right here on the coil, it only goes in one way as well. This side with the groove goes down where that little notch is right there. And then now you guys can see my cylinder 1 spark plug is right there. I'm gonna do one by one so I know which ones I've done, which ones I haven't. So I took my 12.14mm thin wall socket, and then I carefully broke the spark plug, and now I'm spinning this out very slowly. This whole job you want to do very slowly. You don't want to over tighten or break a thread. All right, we got first spark plug out. As you guys can see, it is burnt, which also is a good thing, but that is burnt to ish, and we're gonna be replacing it with these new NGKs. Yes, sir. When you guys are inserting the new spark plug, you want to be very, very careful. You don't want to cross thread anything. You just want to slowly tighten it by hand, and then we're going to be torquing these down to 18 foot-pounds of torque. Spark plug is back into cylinder 1. We're going to take the coil, insert it straight back in, and then it won't fully close until you push it in all the way and then snap it down, and then you're good to go. There's 1, 5 more to go. All right, spark plug 2 is out. I think the dealership replaced these before I even bought the car, so these definitely needed to be replaced. You guys can see burnt to shit, but again, that is also a good sign that the car is igniting properly. So yeah, moving on to the next one. Here's number 3.
It's the next morning. It was getting late last night, so I only did 3 spark plugs out of 6.
We're gonna do the last 3 right now, buttoning up the charge pipes and the intake, and then I'm gonna do a test start, make sure the car idles fine, there's no rough idle, and then we'll put all the bracing and plastic stuff back on. Overall, not too bad. As you guys can probably tell, filming while trying to do all this DIY stuff is very difficult, so I hope you guys take something out of this, you learn something, and it's somewhat informative. Kind of had it down to a science yesterday. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Pop the coil out, remove the connection. Like so. And you take your thin wall socket and a breaker bar, slowly guide it in until you feel it bite. Then you want to break it loose, and then very carefully loosen it And then when it gets to a certain point, I just like to loosen it by hand. And you'll feel it start to come out slowly but surely. It's a long thread, so it takes a while. And there you have it. Spark plug number 4 is out. I'm putting these back into the NGK new boxes, so I'm gonna label them 1, 2, 3, 4, so I know which cylinders they go to. Here's a new spark plug going into the socket. What I like about this thin wall socket is it's magnetic. Obviously, you just want to guide down the spark plug. You can start turning left, so you ensure that you don't cross thread, and then you slowly want to start turning it by hand until you can't turn it no more, and then you'll get your torque wrench and torque it down to 18 foot-pounds. Nothing more. You don't want it to get stuck in there, of course. Hear the click. Gonna insert the coil the same way you took it out. Make sure it goes all the way in, and then wait till you hear that click, and you should be good to go. I'm gonna do the last 2 off camera, button up the charge pipe, put on the intake, and then I'll take you guys along for the ride when we do the first startup. Everything is buttoned up, got the intake box back on, charge pipes are back on, everything looks to be connected from the top. I will plug in the 2 sensors over here just so I don't get a light. But yeah, I wanna turn the car on now to see if it is running good and it's idling fine. There's no rough idle or anything like that, so let's do that now. All right, moment of truth. I'm gonna start the car up now. Idling just fine. The RPMs are not blipping up and down. It's fucking loud, yo. I'm just gonna let it idle for like a minute or 2, make sure everything looks and sounds okay. But so far so good. All right, just turn the car off, let it idle for like at least, I would say like 5 minutes, but everything seems to be a-okay. So now the fun part, putting all the bracing back on, the plastic stuff, plastic coverings, the engine cover, and then clean up this mess. I'll catch up with you guys after that. Just like that, everything is buttoned back up, and that's a wrap. Let's go. Later in the day, I'm gonna give you guys another cold start. Alright, as you guys can hear, car is idling good. Going to the store right now, so I'm gonna let the car warm up real quick, go for our first little test cruise, and I'll take you guys along for the ride. It is an absolute beauty of a day here in Orlando. I say that in a lot of the videos, but it is what it is. Can't beat this weather. But yeah, I'm going to the store right now, just cruising around. Car feels smooth, yo. Feels really good, actually. Like, it just went to the doctor's office and had its annual checkup, and it running smooth now. So I'll let the car warm up, and then I'll report back with you guys. All right, we teleported back to the garage. That's gonna effectively wrap up this week's video. I actually went for a test drive, and I started hearing more intake noise, more induction noise, more whoosh noise. So I came back here, undid the charge pipes and the intake about 3 to 4 different times this past weekend. Make sure everything was seated properly, then I tightened everything down. So obviously I was having, not a boost leak, but something just wasn't tightened down. It was just an air leak. I still had full boost. I had no codes or check engine lights or drive chain malfunctions. So my whole weekend I spent trying to diagnose where I didn't tighten down enough. But I ended up calling my boy Ben, Shame M3 S55. I'll put it in the bottom left hand corner. Make sure you guys follow him. He's a BMW tech. It's good to have a tech in our group because he not only knows the actual knowledge, he has saved us, myself, and the other guys in our group chat plenty of times. So shout out to you, Ben, if you're watching. Make sure you guys follow him and subscribe to his YouTube channel, Shrunk Media. Also put that down in the bottom left. But thank you, Ben. Glad I got to figure it out. But overall, the spark plug job, not too bad. Honestly, the most time-consuming part is taking off all the plastic and bracing. But after you do it one time, honestly, it's super easy. I bet you I could do the whole job in like 30 minutes if I wasn't filming.
But obviously filming, I'm doing it for you guys, and it takes up more time. So if you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, learned something, one thing, make sure you guys drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for future content. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Peace.